So I'm working my way through the set of recipes that's going to be in the upcoming holidays cookbook that I've put together. Got the cookbook done, but I'm trying to get the recipes all filmed out. And somebody sent me a message asking me about turkey broth. How do you make turkey broth? And I realized that that's one of those things that I've been talking about recently, you know, techniques that experienced folks know about, that less experienced folks kind of go, huh? What are you talking about? So I'm going to show you how you make it. Now, you'll do this, of course, after the holidays, after Christmas or Thanksgiving. If you have the carcass left over. This is such an ugly word, carcass. Anyway, you'll do this afterwards. I tend to make a turkey the week before Thanksgiving, just so I've got turkey broth to use in the recipes I make Thanksgiving Day, because I love to do stuffing and gravy, both with turkey broth. But anyway, I do turkeys all year round anyway, doesn't matter. Here's how you do it. So I'm going to show you what's in this pot. It's seriously ugly, just please don't hold that against me. I've picked all the meat off the carcass, right? Now, I don't go crazy. I've got a few little shreds left in there, simply because I want the meaty flavor in there as well as the flavor from the bones. Also, the thyme that I stuffed the bird with before I roasted it, that's in here too. I got rid of the lemon that was inside the bird. You don't want that in there. The lemon peel will make the broth bitter. It doesn't work, so get rid of the lemon. Here's all you have to do. Now, I have left the skin and the fat in here. And there's a reason why. I'm going to be doing some dumplings coming up for like a turkey and dumplings. That's one of my kids' favorite. Chicken and dumplings. You can use it interchangeably. And I want that little bit of fat that I'll skim off the top for the dumplings. So I go ahead and let it in there. A lot of it has already fallen off the bird as the bird roasts, and it ends up in the bottom of the roasting pan, and you end up using it to make gravy when you make gravy after roasting the bird. So there won't be a ton, but what little fat there was, I left because I'm going to use it. All right, so all I did, actually let me show you this real quick. Not a ton of water. I want as much meat, bone, skin, and fat in there to water ratio as I can get. So I use the smallest possible pot where I can break the carcass up and put it in there, and then barely get it to the top and cover it with cold water. I'm also not going to crank the heat up. I'm going to be doing several videos today, so we're going to be in here for a while. So I'm going to leave it on medium to medium low. I don't want it to boil hard because I don't want the fat coming off the bird to emulsify into the broth and make it cloudy. So I want that to come up to the top and just sit there where I can skim it off. Does that make sense? Ricky, does that make sense? Oh, all right, we're good to go. All right, so medium to medium low heat, and that's going to sit there while I do other stuff. And I'll be back to show you how we strain it off and get it ready to work with. I wanted to take a minute to show you something. So we've had our broth pot sitting back here on the back of the stove for a while, and it's just doing its thing. Here's what I wanted to show you. You see how, can you get a shot? Is it visible how that much movement the liquid is doing? Is that visible? Can we see that? Not much. Well, that's the point. You don't want a whole lot. I've got my stove way down on medium low. I don't know, it's a 2, whatever 2 translates on your stove. And this is exactly where I want it to sit. And if you look down in the surface, you can see that the fat is starting to rise to the top. You can see the fat here. And then you see this little bit of protein coagulant that's coming up right here. I'll take a spoon and just kind of scoop that off. But that's doing exactly what we wanted to. I'm going to let this go at this temperature. Just leave it alone. Let it go at this temperature, probably for about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how much I get distracted. Here's that. And when I come back, I'll show you how we separate that out and get the last little bit of what that turkey has to give us so we can eat it, which is yummy. Alright, so I've been kind of fiddling around all afternoon doing 58 different things, and the whole time this pot has sat on the back of the stove and it's just been at a bare simmer. I want to tell you it's been doing it for 3 hours. I think a minimum is 1 hour. You start going longer than that, you've pretty much gotten all you're going to get out of it, so there's not a whole lot of reason. But this is what I want to show you next. I will dump the whole thing and get every last drop out of those bones in a minute. But the main thing I want to show you is going to be pretty visible here in just a second. So, see the line? That's the fat. Now, if I wanted to get this much more clear, I can do all kinds of stuff. I could run it through
cheesecloth. I can simmer it with some eggshell, which will help clarify the broth. There's all kinds of things like that I can do. However, for this, I'm going to use this in just some home-style soups and stews and that kind of thing. I don't worry about it. And because it's already so flavorful, I don't want to mess with it too much. I will, however, let this fat continue to separate. The easiest way to do that is to stick the whole thing in the refrigerator. The fat will solidify on top and you'll be able to pull it off, right? Now, my brain went blank. Here I'm sitting here staring at the turkey broth and my brain went blank. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in the refrigerator and I'll be back in a little while to show you exactly what it looks like when it's 100% finished and ready to use. I actually ended up sticking my turkey broth in the fridge overnight. This is why. Now, if you need to use it right away, you can certainly use a spoon to skim the liquid fat off the top and you'll get most of it. But I like to do this. When you chill it, the fat solidifies and then all you have to do is lift it off. Now, there's not a whole lot of fat there. I mean, it's in one solid sheet, so it looks like a big sheet of fat, but there's not a ton there. It's only going to be a couple of tablespoons. And that's going to be just about perfect if you want to make a homemade dumpling to simmer off. And you're going to do turkey and dumplings or what have you. I'm actually going to make a dish called chicken and slicks with my turkey broth and my fat. So that'll be another video. Anyway, if you wonder how to make turkey broth, simplest, fastest way, it's almost hands-off, and if you treat it the right way, all the elements kind of do their thing for you. So if you like what I've done, please give me a thumbs up down below. It really helps me. And if you've got a question, leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it as fast as I can. Look me up on Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest. And if you have a second and really want to help me out, check out my new page over at Patreon. Anyway, homemade turkey broth. I hope that helps you out.